Hey everyone, it's Tammy from Appalachian Ambrosia. Our good conversation today is with Hana Eichin, and she is the owner of a brand new art store in Abingdon, Virginia called Spot of Color. So I'm going to bring her in right now. Hey Hannah,
Hey.
thanks so much for taking some time to talk to me today about your business.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, as we have talked a little bit through chatting and texting to get you here for the interview, you know that I am spotlighting right now businesses that have opened during the pandemic, and you are one of those courageous people. And so we want to hear your story today about the business, but I want to hear a little bit about yourself because you are not native of the area. You come to us by way of Texas. So give us a little background and then we'll move on to the business.
Yeah, okay. So I grew up in Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, the northern part. I went to school in Oklahoma for theater. I've actually got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in theater. And that's kind of where I learned my painting skills and all that kind of stuff was through my college. I'd always been kind of crafty with my mom all through my life. She loved to craft. She did scrapbooking and all kinds of stuff. She was Cub Scout leader, so we did lots of projects with the Cub Scouts, and I was always tagging along. So I went to school in Oklahoma. I worked in Kansas for a while, and then I got a job working at Barter Theater, which is how I ended up here. And I worked there for about 6 years, close to seven, actually. And I painted for them for the sets, painted the sets on stage, and then I also started to design some of the scenery as well. And then I thought, hey, I need supplies to do this work, and there isn't an art supply store around. So I thought I'd start my own. And that's how I ended up owning a business in Abingdon.
Wow, that's great. Well, now did you take some time to maybe study online about opening a business, or how did you gain that courage to make the change from theater to retail?
Yeah, so I started with just this crazy idea of doing this. Hadn't really ever run a business. I didn't take any business courses in school or any of that kind of stuff. So I was self-taught really. I went online, I watched lots of videos, I figured out how to do accounting and how to get a business license and all of those types of things. And so but for about 2 years, I spent time researching how to own a business, how to start a business. And then I finally, in December of 2019, I quit my job and I started up my business and I got my license and opened my store in March of 2020.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Now, what makes you different from, say, Michael's or Hobby Lobby?
That is a good question. A lot of the things that Michaels and Hobby Lobby sell are going to be a bit more beginner level stuff, or they're not the quality supplies that you would really want to see in some of your fine arts, especially if you're selling your artwork. Now, I'm not carrying like the super high quality fine artist stuff. There just isn't really a need for that in this area. So I kind of landed on a mid grade, like high quality, but still cheap enough for any person to come in and pick up. Um, and also, when you come into Spot of Color, I'll be able to answer your questions. Whereas when you go into Hobby Lobby or Michaels, you come up to these people that have been trained how to use a register and how to put product on a shelf, but they may not know exactly how to use that paint or what brush you need for what you're doing, those types of things. So you're just going to get
Right.
a bit more personal experience in my store.
Right. Now, from looking at your website, and it's a good time for me to tell folks that you have a website, spotofcolor.com, you offer eco-friendly, non-toxic
Mm,
products. Talk a little
yeah,
bit about those.
so that's something that I am really passionate about in my own life. I've kind of switched to a lot of eco-friendly things. I'm trying to use less plastic and all those types of things. So in the store, I actually have a lot of products that I have hand selected specifically for their eco-friendly qualities. Some of them have been produced using recycled waters. Some of them don't use any kind of toxic chemicals. I've got one line that is completely all natural paints. Even the acrylics don't have plastic in them, which is something that you just don't see anywhere. And since I'm so passionate about it, I thought it was a perfect fit, and people are really into it. So
You know that you just mentioned one thing that I had never thought about is recycled water. I'd never thought about that. I think about the recycled paper, but I never think about recycled water, I guess, in the paint themselves. Is that correct?
Yeah, with their manufacturing process, they try not to dump all of their water straight away into the sewer system. They try to find multiple uses for it before it gets sent off to get cleaned to re-enter into the clean water. So they try to wash equipment with it and all those types of things. There's not a whole lot of water that goes into the paints, but yeah. So with the manufacturing process in general, they just try to reuse the water as much as possible before it goes for cleaning.
Okay, I
Yeah.
understand now. Okay. I just had never really thought about that. So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, your space there has lots of products based on what I've seen on the website. I'm anxious to get in myself, but you also are offering that space as a place for classes. Talk to me a little bit about your classes.
Yeah, so coming up, originally I had plans on having classes right off the bat, but of course I opened in March of 2020. So I had to kind of pivot and shift a little bit. I ended up doing a few paint and sip classes over Zoom, which was a great experience. It was just so strange to be talking to people in their living rooms or their bedrooms sitting there painting at home. It was very, very odd for me. And then I started offering a few private paint and sip classes where people could either come to the store to have a class with just like their little quarantine bubble, or I would go to their home and set up there. But recently, I have actually started up, I'm doing classes in my space for the public. I'm doing 101 classes in watercolor, drawing, acrylic, and a mixed media kind of art journal class. And those happen on Thursday nights. And so we just kind of are going to hit the basics of all of these types of painting, like super 101, like this is how you hold a paintbrush kind of stuff. So yeah.
Well, I would have to enroll in the very basics of how to hold a paintbrush and a pencil. I do paper crafts. I did the scrapbooking, so I related to your mother in your introduction. Rubber stamping. I'm a rubber stamper, make cards and things like. I do tend to go toward more paper crafting rather than painting. So I would have to have a beginner class. So you may see my face down there. So
Wonderful.
yeah. Now you also offer demonstration classes, right?
Yeah, so sometimes we've got some products in the store that are a little unusual and unique. And I had been doing these online. There's a couple of videos on YouTube about our all natural, eco friendly products. And I just kind of show how to use them, stuff that maybe people don't really know about. Like I did a little online live with watercolor pencils. People didn't realize there were so many different ways to use a watercolor pencil. So I do a few little demos of products that maybe you're not familiar with or new ways to use those products.
Okay. I noticed on your website you're doing a demo video, which really caught my eye. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly. It was blue paint. I know that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really great to demonstrate the product so that folks will know what it's about and what it's for, and maybe how easy it is and not so intimidating. I think sometimes art can be intimidating if
Mhm.
you're not past the V birds and the puffy clouds and if you're not advanced, and not me, I'm not advanced, but it can be a little intimidating. So now I read somewhere about uh, possibly drawing nude models.
Yeah, so that is something that I really loved doing in college. It really improved my drawing skills. It really just pushed me past where I was struggling a little bit. And then I took this life drawing class, which is basically nude models. And I took that class, and suddenly my artwork just jumped by leaps and bounds. So I really want to be able to offer that to people that maybe don't have the college experience, but they can do it in my store. However, we've had to put that off a little bit. Having a nude model in a room full of people that could be carrying COVID is not particularly safe. So I've been
Right.
kind of pushing that off, but I hope to be able to get that going probably by the end of this year, and have just a life drawing class.
once everything's good and safe.
Yes.
That's what's important. I noticed also something about a Chroma Key membership. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Chroma Club.
Yeah,
Basically,
Chroma
I'm
Club,
doing, yeah,
sorry.
yeah, that's all right. So online, you can sign up for our newsletter, and you're just in the basic Chroma Club membership. For the professional artists who are selling artwork in the area, I have given them a special discount card. And there's just a little application you have to fill out that says that I'm a professional artist. Here's my website, or here's where you can find my artwork for sale, or here's some sort of proof that I actually sell my artwork, and they get a special discount card so that they can get some discounts, because professional artists need supplies for cheaper because they're selling their work. And so to keep them selling and be able to give them the profits that they need to keep doing what they love, I wanted to give them a little special discount.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's helping everybody that you can. So
Yeah.
that's good. Now, what about what's on the horizon for Spot of Color? What are some things that you'd like to see take place, whether it's right now or when the pandemic is completely away from us? What are your hopes and dreams for Spot of Color?
Oh, there's so many. I want to be able to afford a larger space so that class sizes can be bigger. Currently, my space is a little small, so our class sizes are actually limited to 4 or 5 people at a time. And I can only have so many classes because I am the only teacher, and I'm also running the store. And I want to hire other teachers to teach other things that I am not as familiar with, such as oil painting. That's not one of my favorite mediums. I can do it, but I would prefer to bring someone in to teach it. So I want more teachers. I want more class options. I'd love to continue doing these sip and paint nights in the store, as well as possibly in people's homes or at other business locations. Yeah, I just want to expand. I just want it to be big and a big, happy art family.
It sounds really good. It does. Now, what are your hours of operation?
Right. So I do have some slightly odd hours. I actually am closed on Tuesdays. I know a lot of people are used to people being closed on Mondays and Sundays. I'm closed on Tuesdays. It was my slowest day of the week, so I chose those. But I am also open on Mondays from 10 to 6, Wednesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and Sunday from 10 to 4. That's right. You can come in on a Sunday.
Super. And your address? What is your location?
Yeah, so I am actually at 333 West Main Street in Abingdon, 24210, if you're putting it into your little Google Maps. Um, and it's actually, my door is actually off of Russell Road in Main Street. So there's kind of like a weird parking situation. I'm next to Tim Kane's office and First Chiropractic. And then on the other side is the Historical Society. I'm in the building with the Historical Society, but I'm kind of in the backside. So it's kind of hard to see me, but there's a big sign.
Right. I was going to say you're close to the Historical Society. I'm down
Mhm.
there a lot, so when it's safe. Okay, is there anything else you can think of that you want to share that I haven't asked?
I guess the one other thing that I am hoping to do soon is open up my re-art program, which is actually on my website still. I haven't taken it down because I just really want to do it. This is a recycling for your old art supplies. If you're not using them, or if you don't want them anymore for whatever reason, if you want to upgrade to newer, higher quality supplies, I want to be able to take those in and offer them really cheap to other customers who may not be able to afford the really nice stuff but still want to create. So basically, it would be like a buyback program. If you've ever been to like a used bookstore, kind of that same setup, like a half price
Mhm.
books. I don't know that those exist out here though, but things like that. So like I'd buy the supplies from you for fairly cheap, and then I'd resell them just to cover my costs to other people so that they all have access to art, because I think everyone should have access to art. It's calming, it's soothing. You can use it as therapy. You can just sit down and color and get ready for bed after that, and you feel calmer and more relaxed. And so I think that's very important for people to have access to that.
It is very important. Both art and music are good therapies, and
Yes, they
they're
are.
proven therapies. So that's great that you're going to recycle and make those available to folks that
Yeah.
maybe can't afford the items right away. Well, Hannah, it's been great talking to you. You are there on off of Russell Road, Spot of
Hmm.
Color. You have a website, spotofcolor.com. You're on Facebook, you're on Pinterest and Instagram, correct?
Hmm. Yep, all of those, and I also have a YouTube page, so I'm on everything.
Super. All right, you're way out there on social media. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, I wish you all the best. I'll be checking back in with you. Be sure and reach out to me if you have a special event, and we can pop you on again and promote it. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.